Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the boat. Another day, another project. It seems like every day there's a project. But today we're going to talk AC. The boat AC does work, kind of. It worked last year. At the end of the year it started dragging. Obviously I only used it a little bit last year until the winter time, but it started to drag. Right now it's like in the 80s here in Northern Virginia, and upper 70s. What I've found and what I remember from last year is that the fan is not very strong. It's quite weak. It's blowing out cold air, but I have had to add this fan here to it just to help get some of the air out. But it's not keeping up because it's just not blowing from down below. The AC is working though, and I'll show you that. Actually, let's show you right now, and then we'll talk about what my solution is going to be. So here is the temperature situation. Not 85. It's my app says it's 82 degrees outside, so 82 degrees, or I'm sorry, 73, 72 degrees outside. It was 83 when I got here, so with the fan and the AC on, it has dropped it a couple of degrees since I've been here. 84 in the head, so it's warm, and I think we averaged around 70 to 73 last night. I like it to be, 65. So we've got to fix that. The AC is actually located under this cushion. So if you lift this cushion up, you'll see the AC. And I probably should get some light down here. So I don't know if you can see, but there's water in that rusty bottom pan. And clearly this fan right here is our problem. And it's just not blowing very well. But like I said, it does work. It is getting cold, but there are some things I don't like about this. And one of those things, again, is that standing water in the bottom. Also the location, some of the controls. There are a lot of things that make this not necessarily the most desirable type of AC, but this is what boats have. And over here you'll see the controls. So obviously it's just a dial, no setting that makes any type of, it makes sense. And heat, don't even think about it. This boat at 65 degrees, when it's 65 degrees outside, this boat does well when it's 40 degrees at night and it's 70 degrees during the day. This boat has no problem keeping warm, or keeping warm. So until it's freezing, but then when the water's that cold and it's that cold outside, this thing doesn't work. So it's kind of a heat exchanger, so you need that. The other problem, and I want to show you down here under my backpack under the seat, is the bilge for that. So that standing water collects because the drain is not very high, so it's actually got to fill up quite a bit, and then it comes out into the bilge. But then this bilge is not wired correctly, so I have to open this up and jump wire it to the light down here to get it to kick out overboard. Hasn't been running enough to give much more water than is in there now, but that's a problem. So what am I going to do about it? Well, I have seen a few videos, and I guess no, I didn't take the inspiration from them, but a few videos where they've got the portable roll-around ACs that they've put in here. So I was going to buy one, and it's still in the car, so I haven't brought it yet. But I'm going to show you, talk through that here in a minute. But I'm going to buy one, or I was going to buy one, but we already had two at the house, and one like 8,000 BTU, something like that. That I just brought here. We've had a bigger one for a while. This just sits in the garage. We can put that one. We'll move that one, and then I'll use this one. But I've got to find a way to vent the heated air. I think I figured that out. Before I get into that, the other reason why I don't like this AC is because of the components and what it requires to run. So back in the back, in the engine compartment, near the back starboard side of the boat, there's a through hole and a valve, and that through hole and valve obviously is egress point for water, comes up, comes through. There's another pump. That pump apparently can freeze and break all the things. So there's a pump, then that hose comes all the way to the front up here, and it pulls in seawater, lake water, salt water, river water, stream water, whatever you're in, to create that heat pump effect. So that's also a point of egress. I'd like to keep that valve off, flush the system, and be done with it. So this solution is going to be my new solution. What does this solution entail? So there are 3 ways to do this. There's intrusive, semi-intrusive, and non-intrusive. So the first and most desirable method is non-intrusive. So what does non-intrusive entail? Well, non-intrusive is going to be finding one of the portholes, using the door, using there's this other square porthole over here, which would be a really good way to do it. But building a fake window, an access point that seals into there, and then you can eject that heat out. This window would be perfect. It's a great location. It's easy to get to. The problem is I like to keep this open sometimes, so I want cool air in, but also fresh air. So if I'm using that window, then the heat's going to come right back out and right back into here. Obviously, keeping the window open or the door open defeats the purpose, but fresh air, that thing's going to be more than enough to cool this whole area. So I'm going to be fine. I also need some fresh air, so whatever. But that's not going to be very often. If you have a camper cover, that's a problem too, because you're just heating up the camper cover. So what's second? Second is semi-invasive. So semi-invasive is still kind of invasive, but it involves, and that's the method I'm going to use. I'll talk about that here in a minute, but it is cutting a hole somewhere that's not a big deal, right? So can you find somewhere to cut a hole? Back here in the rear berth, and I've got it cleaned out because I'm going to get back here in a minute and show you what I'm talking about. Back here in the rear berth, back against that wall, that back wall there, up high, is the back of the seat here. So you could potentially, but it is a hollowed out, so you would have to run a longer vent through there, but you could vent it out from underneath the seat. So you're still drilling holes in your boat, but it's into a safe location. Again, if you had a camper cover, you'd be heating that area of the boat. And the intrusive, and like I said, I'm semi-intrusive. I'll talk about what I'm doing here in a minute. Intrusive is just what I've seen a lot of people do, and they just cut a hole in that back wall. That bulkhead goes right to the engine compartment, and then now you're putting air, you're putting air, heat. Yeah, you have now an access to the engine compartment, and the fumes and the gas and all the things that are supposed to be separated from here to there is a problem. So, but people do it. That's why I call it intrusive. I would also consider intrusive some of these other bulkheads, especially out at the side of the boat, into the open, where it's going to be open to the elements and rain. But for me, and I'll have to show you, I've got some fittings here. I've got the white flexi pipe for the AC, but for me, right here is a panel, and this panel opens up to the vents. So there are 4 vents, one long double vent on each side. The vents on the starboard side vent the engine compartment. The vents on this side just go down and into other portions of the bilge. They do not, it's bulkheaded off from the engine compartment. So under here there are 2 flexible pipes that just kind of hang down. So I'm going to take this panel off and show you what I'm talking about. And where that panel is, I'm going to install this little flappy valve so that we only get one way flow. And I'm going to install the AC and set it right here to fill the cabin. Well, here is what it looks like up in here. I was wrong. This does go all the way to the engine compartment, but it's got quite a distance. This I just took down, just like the one back there was screwed. That's just the gunnel. It's screwed to the gunnel, to nothing. So they just go up there and dead end. So this one I'm going to use, and this is where we're going to vent out the side, unless I'm trying to decide if I want it to vent out the side or if I just want to push it up into this cavity and let it continue to vent the engine. That might not be a bad idea, because the one thing is I don't like the flow. This is like a 6-inch. It's a 6-inch. I have reduced the size, but the tube coming out of the back of the AC is 6 inches, and this is clearly only like a 3-inch. So we'll see. But let me see if I can fit some of these adapters and decide what I'm going to do here. Well, here is what I've got so far, and it's going to be not necessarily easier than I thought, but not as hard. And if you look at that and you say, hey, that's painter's tape, that's not what you use that for, I will say you're absolutely correct. I wanted this to be semi-permanent so I can take this apart and put this boat back to its original condition without this in here at some point. So that is what I'm going to do. But as you saw, the flapper fits well. I just have to go out and mark a hole in this board here and put the flapper in. So I brought my jig saw and I got some drill bits. So I'm gonna ensure I know. Looks like this goes without kinking that hose. I think it's gonna go right here where these two holes are, or these two screws fit, and we're gonna be rocking and rolling. So, all right, let me go mark it and cut it. All right, sorry if you want to see more of that, but it was really simple. All I did was set this on here, draw a circle with a marker, drilled a few holes and cut it out. As you can see, this flapper falls perfectly. I did put one screw, and make sure you put it on this side so the flapper can come down. Obviously you don't want a screw coming through that's holding that other piece on, and the flapper will hit it. So we're all set there. Then I'm gonna put this on, and I'm gonna put the other piece on here, and then go get the air conditioner before the weather rolls in. Yeah, and like I said, there is a little bit of weather off in the distance there, so it's nice over that way, but another 30 or 40 minutes and that weather is going to be this way. So what you'll see here, though, again, I used the semi-permanent painter's tape. I put 3 screws in that adapter. That's I think a 6 to 4 inch adapter. So there's some screws on top. I don't think I need any tape there. It's got an inch and a half, 2 inches of that it's up in there, and then tape there. So obviously I'll feel around there, see how it feels. But that's it. It's ready to go. There we have it. Temperature did drop in here, 72, but it's getting cooler outside. It's actually supposed to drop down to like 40 something tonight, but it's still warmer than 70 outside. So I'm gonna turn off this AC, and yesterday I did this, it dropped quick and that fan weakened and it stopped kicking air. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. AC's off, and now this is a Hisense. I think we got this one from Walmart. These are about 250 bucks, or not Walmart, I'm sorry, Lowe's. And Lowe's are they're like 250. The cheapest that we found on Amazon, you get one that looks almost identical to this. It may even be Hisense. It's 169, 170 bucks. So that's your price. I also have a remote control here, so I can fire up my power and tell it I want it to be 66 degrees in here, and that's what it's going to do. So there it is. I will check this exhaust, and I'll insert any problems I found right here, but otherwise I'm just going to go outside and make sure it's blowing out of the exhaust. And you know what, let's do that. I'll go check that, because that'll be the last thing, and then I'm gonna go take a shower before it starts pouring down rain, because it's getting closer and closer. Let's see if we can reach it from here. Yep. Yeah, field blowing out. It actually blew something out. Yep, it's exhausting right there out of the vent. Seems to be doing a good job. So, man, yeah. That's it, guys. Hopefully, if you're going to tackle something like this, you can do it as non-invasively as possible. A little thunder in the distance. You can do it as non-invasively as possible, or semi-evasively like I did. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. I think this is going to be, it's going to calm my nerves. I'm going to jump down in the engine compartment either today or tomorrow and turn that valve off so that we don't have, you know, an open hole to the water on the bottom of the boat. So thanks for watching. Again, like, subscribe, the bell. We'll catch you on the next one.